I'd like to thank Chairwoman Brooks for holding today's hearing on the cancellation of BioWatch Gen 3 acquisition and the future of biosurveillance and detection. The Department of Homeland Security's decision to cancel the BioWatch Gen 3 acquisition raises several questions, but I think they can be boiled down to two. First, if Gen 3 is canceled, what are we going to do instead? Second, with about $100 million already appropriated to the canceled Gen 3 acquisition, what efforts is DHS undertaking to make sure that acquisition decisions are made more responsibly in the future? To the first question, I understand that the current budgetary constraints contributed significantly to the Department's decision to cancel the Gen 3 acquisition. I appreciate DHS's efforts to reconcile the findings of the analysis of alternatives, BioWatch detection goals, and existing fiscal limitations. And I trust that the Secretary's decision, though difficult, was informed, thoughtful, and deliberate. But the threat posed by biological weapons remains. In February, as stated, this subcommittee held a hearing on bioterrorism, and each witness had the same message. The threat posed by biological weapons still exists, and the consequences of such an attack would be devastating if we could not identify and quickly respond. Accordingly, I would be interested to know what and how DHS will ensure that it is maximizing the limited resources to ensure that our biodetection and surveillance capabilities address the threats identified by the intelligence community. Turning to the broader acquisition issue, I note that in addition to serving as ranking member on this panel, I sit on the Subcommittee on Oversight and Management Efficiency. Over the past year and a half, that panel has devoted a significant amount of time to overseeing DHS's efforts to improve acquisition management, which has been on the Government Accountability Office of High Risk list since 2005. Although I understand that some progress has been made to get acquisition management off the high-risk list, it continues to remain to be a challenge. Indeed, the acquisition process for BioWatch Gen 3 embodied many of the problems that plagued previous acquisitions: cost overruns, delayed deployment, and insufficient documentation to support the investment. I commend DHS for obtaining a thorough analysis of alternatives and other preliminary acquisition documents, and for using those documents to assess the future of Gen 3. That said, I'm concerned that those foundational documents were not completed until 7 years after the BioWatch Gen 3 acquisition process began. I'd be interested to learn from the Department how it will use the lessons learned from the BioWatch Gen 3 acquisition to strengthen its acquisition policies. I thank the witnesses for being here today. I look forward to your testimony. And with that, Madam Chair, I yield back the balance of my time.